And then I'll just kind of cut into the corners, like how my sketch looks. And I do this super rough, just like this, because because I have an architecture background, I can get really hung up in details. And if I am sketching and like trying to precisely draw out measurements on a piece of paper before I even start cutting into something, then I get really caught up and it takes me forever to make something. And sometimes you just want to get the ideas out quick. This is basically what I would do. Maybe I start to fold it so it forms that lid and like a box. And then I always keep, oh, also I should mention, I'm doing this out of like a cardstock, which is a heavier piece of paper, so that it keeps its form better than like a regular piece of printer paper, for instance. Um, so like when I fold it, it will keep that fold really, and it'll hold itself up. But then also to help me with construction, I always use tape. So this is drafting tape that I'm using. You can really use anything, it doesn't really matter. I like drafting tape because it's easy to take off of the paper once you're finished, because it's meant to hold paper down, but then also be pulled up or peeled off of it. So yeah, I just use pieces of tape to keep those edges together. And you can see like this is really rough, and it's probably not at all the dimensions that I want to end up with, but it does give me an idea of what this drawing that I made to begin with looks like when it's actually in front of me as a three-dimensional object. Um, so I can see right here that it's pretty wide, and it's not really long enough right now for like a stick of butter to go into. It's definitely got a lot of space down here. So maybe I want to slim it up in this direction, like squeeze it this way, and I want to extend it this way. So what I would do at this point is I would just start cutting into it and adjusting it. And I'd probably go get a stick of butter, measure how big that piece of butter is and how much space I really need in here. Um, and then I'd add like little scraps of paper to it so that it adjusts to whatever shape that I want it to become. So you see, I'm just basically folding it in to take the contour of this inner shape. And then I'm going to cut it off so that it's like an extension of the center of this butter dish, um, and makes a longer form overall. So like, I think about this process as it's really going from the roughest version of my sketches to a rough version of like, it's like sketching in air essentially. And then once I get it to a point where I think that it's nice and I want to make it a little more precise, maybe more symmetrical, make sure that all the sides are the same dimensions, then I would actually go ahead and start cutting it back up, and flattening it out. So this is a good strategy if you like can make a form out of paper, but you're not sure how it would be built out of a flat piece to begin with, you can actually just make it in that three-dimensional form and then figure out the best way to cut it up so that it then becomes flat again. Um, and then once you flatten it, you can see here, it's like one outline that I could trace then, which just makes a very clear template that I would then be able to produce.